Hello out there. I am working on this fourth video in a series about wealth distribution in America and how the haves and the have-nots can come together and make some changes. I did the first one is entitled To the Wealthy from a Commoner, and the third one is actually called Opportunity Economy. How can we make an opportunity economy? So the focus that I have had is on housing and on jobs, because I feel like those are the two main things in America where there is an issue with wealth distribution, and there are ways we can solve it as we the people. We don't need the government to do everything for us. So it'd be nice if we had their support and maybe we could get their attention, but we can do this on our own by talking about, having a conversation about the problems with wealth distribution. In my first video, I quoted a scripture from the Bible, and this is the way I think about it. I do not think people should be forced to give their wealth. I believe that, as Jesus said, that they should not give reluctantly or under compulsion, but that they should give with a cheerful heart. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm not a socialist. And when I say opportunity economy, that doesn't mean I'm a Kamala Harris supporter. I just like that term. So anyways, this video is about housing specifically. And I have been through a lot with housing. So I feel like I have some experiences that I want to share, because that's the whole point of this, is helping the wealthy to hear the common person, and helping the common person to not be afraid to reach out to the wealthy and not to judge them or look at them as evil or selfish or any of those things, but to really help them to just try to understand. So housing. So I was thinking this morning about how there are so many empty houses. I live in North Carolina in a touristy area, so of course there are a lot of vacation homes. I actually worked the census the last time we had it, and I was amazed at these beautiful vacation homes that just sit there for the majority of the year. And there's people that are homeless. And I'm not saying that, some of the people that are homeless aren't there because they want to be. I'm not saying that, people shouldn't have vacation homes, but I want people to start thinking, really thinking, do I need all those vacation homes? And if I can maybe give one of them up or two of them up or whatever surplus you might have to somebody that really needs it and would really appreciate it and would really be thankful for the hand up, and it would change their life, then would you be willing to do that? And then I look at all of the apartment complexes that have empty apartments because they only will rent to certain people with a certain income and certain credit score, and you have to go through that whole application process, and there's really no personal talking to each other anymore. It's just, all done through the computer, so you never really can get to know a person and what their circumstances is and if they would possibly be a good tenant. So maybe, and also with all the apartment complexes, everything in America is about growing wealth. And that's great if you want to grow wealth, and then it continues to help the economy. But if the apartments are so expensive that it's not helping the economy, because people are getting evicted and working 3 jobs and aren't really able to raise their children properly, and all of these things, then how is that really helping America? So could some of those landlords that own those big complexes as an investment possibly look at it and say, how much can I lower these rents to make it more reasonable for the people who are struggling? Is there a little bit that I can cut back and still have a profit, but also be making a better America? Because people are really struggling right now. I've heard people say that the rent has doubled over the years. I live in an RV because I know I can't afford a rent on my own. I'm 63 and I'm kind of in between jobs right now doing DoorDash, which doesn't really make much money by the time you take out all your expenses. So I also share my RV with my son, who is right now in a lower paying job because he went through some things in his life that caused him to be set back. And we could get something together, but some of those things that caused him to be set back might stop us from getting an apartment. So there's just so many obstacles and so many stories. And I feel like if we had some sort of think tank, if we had some sort of way of connecting the stories with the resources, then maybe we can change the way things are done. There's also a need for more little house communities and more affordable communities for people who don't want to necessarily stay in the rat race and work to 60, 80 hours a week to make a certain amount of money to maintain a certain lifestyle. A lot of people are going back to minimalism and cutting back out of a lot of the things that they thought that they needed so much. And that's a good thing to some degree because America has been consumer driven for a long time. But we also don't want to be so frugal that we are just, surviving. Yeah, that's what a lot of us are doing, just surviving. So there's got to be a way to work this out. And I'm just reaching out again, speaking to the wealthy from a commoner, saying there's lots of stories out there. And I know a lot of you have good hearts and you would want to give with a cheerful heart. If you knew how to make the connections to do that without feeling like you were just wasting your money or there wasn't going to be a good ending in it. So, of course, there's always going to be a risk, but we don't have enough ways to connect to even give anybody a chance anymore, it seems like. Commercial businesses, same thing. Lots of empty spaces, empty buildings. Why? Because people can't afford those spaces. So I talked yesterday about small businesses and how we can maybe work on letting people have more small businesses, like mom and pop businesses. Like now they want you to have a business of, 15 to 50 people is a small business, or I don't know if that's exactly the right statistic, but the point is that some of us just want a small mom and pop business and we want a small space that we can rent. So maybe those prices can come down too. So there's so much that we can do that hasn't been done and that the government probably isn't going to get to with all their bureaucracy. So that's why I'm reaching out. Let's do it together.